And we are live for the first couple of matches when it comes to the Easter long weekend. It is, of course, Good Friday, and we're going to be treating ourselves to the traditional Good Friday matchup as we are here for the South Sydney Rabbitohs taking on the Canterbury Bulldogs at Accor Stadium. So this will be an interesting one. Rabbitohs coming off a bye, but the Bulldogs coming off a loss to the Knights. Will be interesting to see how this one plays out. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're coming from here. Welcome to this stream as we've got a couple of games on today, which should be quite exciting to see what does end up occurring. This is a bit of a new somewhat setup as the camera's over here. We're in a seat now, so it's all above board to say the very least. I also don't know how bad the audio is because the room is quite echoey, so we'll just have to try to combat that, but I don't think it's too bad. But if you're here, let me know, vote in the poll on who you think will take out this game, because this game is a bit even. It's a bit even in my eyes about what could possibly go down in this matchup. You've obviously got you got the Bulldogs coming into this with their loss to the Bulldogs, but the Bulldogs, to be completely honest, have not been that convincing this year. And it kind of all came to fruition during the game between the Knights last week. The Bunnies are coming off a bye, and they've also kind of got the same record. So this should be an interesting situation, to say the very least, as we are now just trying to figure out what will happen so far this game. So currently at the moment we've got 2 votes in the poll. We have got 1 for South Sydney and 1 for the Bulldogs in who we think will get the win. But we will be doing multiple games tonight. It's a whole heap chock-a-block. As 8 p.m. we have the Panthers taking on Melbourne, but then we also have some English rivalries to deal with as we go to the Super League Rivals round. As I just adjust this, as we have the Hull derby between Hull Kingston Rovers and Hull FC, and we also have the Good Friday derby between St Helens and Wigan, and then followed up by 6 a.m. in the morning where we have, I believe it's Bradford and Leeds in the West Yorkshire derby. So we've got, this is the best 12, 13, 14 hours one could probably ask for when it comes to rugby league action, and I do need to realise I'll probably fix it up at some point later on for later games, because the camera being up there is a bit of a pain in the backside, to be completely honest with you. But I think since we're all here still trying to gather ourselves, also I know there is the poll voting, but let us know specifically who you have. Like, do you have any bets on? Who do you think score first try? Just put any aspect in. But what we are going to look for is the team list, and I don't think there's been any changes, so we'll go through it right now. Jai Gray starting at fullback with Alex Johnson and Campbell Graham in at the wings, with Latrell Mitchell and Jack Whiten in the centres. Cody Walker and Jamie Humphries are the playmakers. Tavita Totola, Bronson Garlick and Keon Kolomatangi as the prop. David Fafita, Tallis Duncan in the second row, with Cameron Murray at lock. Peter Mamazoulis, Lachlan Hubner, Sean Kepi, Liam LeBlanc, Jaden Sullivan and Mawala Graham Tuffer as essentially the extended bench. I'm just going to quickly get a screenshot of them because I need this for the calling of the match. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting South side to look at. I think like this is pretty much the most full strength South's team have had. Obviously, they had the whole injury crisis last year, so this should realistically be like their best proper side. So hopefully for South fans this goes up. They had a week off, so you've got the possible opportunity there to get it done. But we will now see who the Bulldogs will have lined up in response to this. So at a lot of controversy actually with this, but at fullback you got Connor Tracy, you've got Jacob Kiraz and Marcelo Montoya on the wings with Anari Tuala and Stephen Crichton in the centres. Matt Burton and Lockie Galvin as the playmakers. Max King, Bailey Hayward, Samuel Hughes as the prop hooker prop. Vilami Kikia, Jacob Preston in the second row with Jamin Salmon at lock. You got Kurt Mann, Satili Tupanua, Sean O'Sullivan, Bronson Jerry, Lipoi Hopoi, and Logan Spinks as the extended bench. For those who don't know, who weren't in the know about what has happened, is when this team list got announced by the Bulldogs social media team, the comments were turned off because people were not happy of the fact that there was no changes following the Knights match, which is kind of metal to think about because you lot wouldn't last as a Knights fan. Like, oh boy, it's like, gosh. But yeah, I feel like this Bulldogs team, I think on paper, the Bulldogs probably have the better team, but it's just about if they're able to actually get the required stuff done, like the necessary hard yards, because it's just, against the Knights, like, I feel like, to be fair, I do think a lot of the talk regarding that game is more so hindering away from the Knights. Like, wasn't really talking about, because the Knights did play really well. Like, I know Shock, they actually played quite alright, but I just think that it's more so just been focused on how bad the Bulldogs played, and they just, attacking-wise, have just not looked it at all. It's weird. I'm pretty certain Thomas Jenkins has scored more tries than the Bulldogs so far this year. I think there's actually multiple players who have scored more tries than the Dogs have this year. So, realistically, I think for South to win this, they just need to make this a high-scoring matchup. And then they should be all good, really, to be completely honest. So, this is going to be good, I think. So we're just getting into but yeah, it's just going to be one of those weird ones. Does anyone have any key specific ideas on who we think is going to get over? It's a hard one to call. It is quite a hard match to think, because you got to have to want essentially you obviously want your team to do well. I've just also noticed that you can't have minimized screen on KO. It is kind of weird how, like, with this new hard setup for for KO, they've gotten rid of a lot of stuff where it's like genuinely, like, I'm pretty certain that they actually have gotten rid of minimize screen, which is kind of mental. Oh, they're split view. But yeah, we don't need split view at all, realistically, because there's nothing really to utilise it. Cumry and Mackham, good to see you, man. Flip a coin match. Oh, yeah, honestly, I think that's probably the perfect way to describe this game, and I think it's kind of good that you have matches, specifically in this round, where it's kind of like you don't really know what's happened or what you think is going to happen, because you just don't know. But we need to kind of talk about yesterday, the opening game of the round, which was the Dolphins against Manly. Kieran Foran now 1-0 to start his coaching career, as Manly just absolutely decimated the Dolphins. I think the final score was 52 points to 18. I'll just have a quick check to confirm that. Yep, 52 points to 18. And realistically, all the Dolphins points came within like the last 10 minutes of the game. But yeah, it's a very beautiful performance there by the Sea Eagles, and it's desperately needed. And it is also kind of weird how essentially they've got a coach now who could straight up lace up, like in their current state, and probably still go rather well. So it's going to be pretty good to see how Manly go for the rest of the season. In this game, I have tipped the I've tipped the Dogs to win this. Okay, so the audio's not too bad. I was just wondering if it was, but... So basically, I was just playing it over, yeah. But I think I've got the Dogs to win this game. So I think this still will be a close affair. I think it's going to be like a bit of a running thing with like the previous dog wins so far this year. And it's going to be like an 18-14 type scoreline is what I'm personally seeing. But yeah, if anybody else has got any specific ideas of how they think this game will go down, let us know in the comments. But so just looking through some of the stats here from 2025 of the forward pack averages. Most missed tackles in the competition. It's actually been increased. There's been more run meters, less post-contact meters, and less tackle bursts. But yeah, I'm pretty certain the Dogs had a lot of missed tackles against the Knights. But yeah, they're saying their average is 26.3 so far, which is the worst in the competition. But there should be a pretty decent crowd. I think the weather's a bit iffy when it comes to Sydney at the moment. I think it's a little... questioning as the Bulldogs doing a sprint. It looks like it was warming up to do like a haka or something. But yeah, I feel like Crichton is definitely going to be a player that needs to step up here. So Bulldogs next couple of games, they've got Penrith next week. That's, oh boy, if Souths are able to beat them and the Bulldogs still have that attacking issue, then they take on Penrith next week. That's just going to turn into a massacre, in my personal opinion. So that's going to be rough. That's going to be rough going for them. But, yeah, I just think that Souths, what they just need to do, I feel like a high-scoring game would, in my opinion, more so benefit Souths in this case, which I don't think is that shocking of a call to make. But it's just, I think if Souths can get a momentum going, I think they should be able to take it out quite well. But I feel like this is the type of match where both teams are going to be a bit, like, stiff. So, but yeah, it's just, we're excited. It's still exciting to see regardless of what does end up happening. Yeah, I keep noticing because this has got nothing to do with the rugby league sort of thing, but I made a shorts video about over a year ago about Graham Arnold, who at the time was formerly the coach of the Socceroos. It was when he joined the coaching, became the coach of Iraq, and basically said, "Oh, have the Iraqi people suffered enough?" And a couple of days ago, Iraq qualified for their first World Cup in about 40 years, and unfortunately, a lot of people are letting us know. It's also, I've got to say, and it feels a bit really weird for me, but it's like, I don't understand as to why Fox League uses a lot of its like advertising space. It's like it's promoting other things. Like it really kind of shows that like, oh, No Limit Boxing and horse racing just absolutely control the aspects of advertisement for the sport. It's a bit weird. But we've still got like a couple of minutes now away for the... Okay, just need to go and turn these overlays off. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting sort of game. Is that actually proper buffering? Seems like, yeah, okay, that seems to be okay. But everything seems to be okay. I was just trying to make sure that the stream was running well. Still 2 votes to make it an even split in this matchup. So you just got no idea. You just don't know what's going to end up happening. So we'll just keep it moving, keep it flowing. trying to get rid of the overlays here so we can go straight into the proper matchups and that. But we've got very interesting. But yeah, we're just going to transition down to C now. So it really annoys me that the the overlays they are doing. There we are. But yeah, I just have no clue what's going to end up happening in this matchup. I'm just going to get the words up. So I know it's so great having straight up nothing being said. As yeah, because dead noise is brilliant for a streamer. It is absolutely brilliant. But yeah, we're just getting to the point where just trying to get through this and just get everything set up. But yeah, this is going to be one of those weird matches, which is a good thing because it actually will possibly be quite close and quite exciting. But okay, there we go. So we're just now about 12 minutes. Actually, I've just realised. Yeah, it's about 4:05 is the kickoff. It's not 4 p.m. So yeah, we're actually still a little bit away from the start of the match. I'll go with the Dogs. Yeah, it's a fair call, Harry Mackham. This does seem like it is the type of match that the Bulldogs will be able to snap out of their sort of weird streak. So. But yeah, you just have no idea. But yeah, then you've got obviously like the South attack as well. You've got obviously, I mean, the free scoring Alex Johnston, who, and I need to bring this up. So obviously we know that he broke the record against the Roosters to become the highest scoring try scorer in Australian Rugby League history. I said Australian because there are English players that have more in England. But one thing I will say is, if we're being technical and everyone like rushes the pitch when he breaks the record, technically every time he now scores henceforth, he would still be breaking the record. So realistically, we should be pitch invading for every single occurrence he scores. So to get really onto it, but yeah, they're highlighting the left attack of South Sydney, basically, which is considering the likes of David Fafita, Latrell Mitchell, and Alex Johnston. But yeah, this is the type of match you'd be excited to see Fafita switch on in. Yeah, it's just I think actually we'll just have a quick check of what is the betting markets are saying. Because I'm pretty certain South were favourites, but I don't think it's by that much. Just go quickly to NRL, $1.80 to $2.08. So yeah, still quite close, but it's still favoured for South Sydney to get the job done. But yeah, now we're just trying to get in through the next couple of minutes because we've still got about 13-14 before we actually start the kick-off at 4:05 p.m. But yeah, you just don't know. You just don't know what will end up from this game. I should also state, no game footage is being shown, unfortunately, because of because of copyright things. But yeah, I think this is going to be one of those interesting matchups because obviously you got then. I think when this game ends, it'll be around near sort of 6 o'clock, and then the other game will start at 7:30. Stream will start at 7:30. So Very I'm pretty certain actually. I don't know if this is 10 years or it's like sort of near that point of this game having one of the more controversial endings in rugby league history, where it was a South Sydney player was going for a field goal attempt, and I think it was either James Graham or Clemmer. It was some player from the Dogs tries to block it and makes contact with the legs, and it was given a penalty because the game was tied at that point, and the Souths were given a penalty for a 2-point win, and that's the one where basically when the Bulldogs fans started throwing bottles at the referees. I feel like that was like 20. That would have been 2015, so it would be 11 years. So a little bit closer, because I'm pretty certain it was the first game following the 2014 Grand Final. Or if it was 2016, I'm not 100% sure. Just shows how old I am. And how much of an unk I am. To be fair, I'm pretty certain I've put a multi on for nearly every single game. Not much money, but like I've only won one. It just kind of showed like how bad it's kind of been. But I don't know. Let's have a look. I'll go Alex Johnson to score. We'll whack on, I reckon, Kiraz. I reckon we go Preston. But yeah, it's going to be one of those interesting matches. I'm interesting to see how Luke Keary is going on as a pundit, because it seems very much that's what he is now doing. But yeah, we just don't know what's going to happen for tonight's game. But it's it's interesting how what I will say is there is a lot of the pre-game sort of talking points have been regarding, or in regards to, if we want to be grammatically correct, of South Sydney. So you just don't know. You just don't know with this one, but we just got to wait and see. But still 2 votes now in the poll, still pretty even Steven, so it could get pretty interesting. You know, it's generally one of those ones that you just have no idea. But you got a lot of people in the focus for this matchup, which is exciting to see. But this will be the first game where there's astronauts in space going out to the moon in 50 years as well, with obviously Artemis 2. Which is one of those cool ones. So they're now talking to Cameron Ciraldo, who I feel like if results keep going the way that they're going, we genuinely could see that Ciraldo becomes the coach under the most pressure in 2026. As I feel like it's still between, at the moment, because of Seabold being sacked, it would be somewhere or something around the lines of Todd Payton and Kyle Flanagan. But you just don't know. You just don't know how this game is going to go about. And obviously, I should also say, because this is a 9 Now game, so basically I will help you on how you want to be able to watch it for free. Create a 9 Now account for free and watch game there. Just so people can know if they actually are trying to actually watch this match, so we can just have that pinned. So it's like, hey, I'm helping you. I'm helping you, lads. It's one of those weird ones, and I feel like it'd probably be a little bit more ahead, because this is one of the few games which I think a lot of people would actually have Channel 9 on. Unfortunately, I think our TVs haven't had like regular television on for several years at this point. And there you go, you see Lachlan Galvin and Adam O'Brien talking. Adam O'Brien, the former coach of the Newcastle Knights and the now attacking coach for the Bulldogs. It's an interesting pairing. But it's so weird to me to think about this, because it's like, and it's also a bit hard to not be smug about it, because it's like, you're telling me that the coach that was essentially the head honcho of the team that had probably the worst attack in the NRL last year, and you decide to hire him as your attacking coach, is a bit, like what are we doing? It's like, it's kind of a bad idea. For the coin goes South Sydney. Okay, so, but yeah, this would be a good game. It's got about less than about 7 or 8 minutes. Oh, we have a vote. It is now 2 votes to 1, and it's in favour of South Sydney. So right, this could be I don't know. I'm still vigilant for the Dogs. But yeah, we just need to get the game going on. It's sort of about 7 minutes or so before the start of the match. So, but I think these are wet conditions. It says weather's fine, but I don't know. The weather's been a bit questionable. But South Sydney just need to... I think if South Sydney play their game, they should be okay, but this just seems like one of those days where there could be some interest of what happens. Just waiting now to see what does end up happening for this matchup. As I feel like I've said that a lot because I'm trying to fill time. But just waiting to see how this... But we're just now waiting now for the last 5 minutes or so. Still 2-1 in favour of the Bulldog, not the Bulldogs, sorry, the South Sydney to get this win. But it's just going to be one of those matches where just... But we're just now waiting now for the start of this. But yeah, we're almost there for the start of this matchup. Just trying to get through the final aspects of this, and then we're going to get ready to go. But I feel like this should be... trying to think of actually, I should pull up on the ladder specifically what would happen if how this game would go. So if we go to so just looking quickly at the ladder, so both teams currently on the same points with a 9-point difference in for and against. So basically, whoever wins this game will overtake the other, and pretty much so whoever wins this game will go second place on the ladder, obviously, but Penrith have got a very much a bigger for and against difference unless one of the teams wins by about 100 plus points. So there's that element, I suppose. But yeah, we're just trying to get through this to the final aspects of this match. But yeah, I should also say that no game footage will be shown, unfortunately, due to copyright. But if you follow the directions in the pinned message, you'll be able to watch this along somewhat. So we'll just do that. Okay, so we're almost here now, about 3 minutes now till kick off. So after a bit of pretty shit preamble, we're here now for the matchup as both teams now just getting ready to come out onto the field for this Good Friday clash up, the Bulldogs and South Sydney. But yeah, we just don't know what will come down here. But this is going to be an inspired matchup. But a pretty decent crowd already so far coming into the game. They're looking at around 50,000 fans. As the Bulldogs now walking out to the field. So if you want to get your poll votes in, you might as well get them in, as Stephen Crichton leading them out, as they kind of need their fortune to change in this matchup for the Dogs, as there's been no real changes to the sideline. So yeah, the Bulldogs now out onto the field. So they did say, yeah, 50,000 is what they're looking at for the projected team. But obviously, we're interesting to see what does happen with how this game goes, because if the attack's not good, I think there's going to be a lot of Dogs fans calling for some heads. And as you see, Nathan Merritt ringing the South Sydney legacy bell, of course. Very unfortunate situation for him. Could possibly be his final Good Friday matchup. Unfortunately, because with his current situation with stage 4 cancer. Apparently, he's been told by doctors he may only have 12 months left to live. So it's a pretty rough situation, especially for like Nathan Merritt, who was a fantastic player, especially growing up. Do the Bulldogs have the biggest supporter base in Sydney? That's a rough one. That's an interesting question, but I still would think in terms of like members and actual fan. I feel like it would be more Souths, but I feel like it's the Bulldogs fan base has definitely ballooned the last couple of weeks. But it's okay. We're just now close now to kickoff. So we'll end the poll here. So with the 3 votes, we all have South Sydney being predicted overall favourites. South Sydney going to be running screen right, with the Bulldogs getting first possession of the ball. And we're underway. Kick off. The ball's been kicked to Galvin, and it's a run straight to Max King, the Maitland boy. He gets brought down on the 10 for the first tackle. But now just waiting yet. We're fresh off as we've got underway now for this matchup. But yeah, if you're wanting to watch the match, put it in the live chat. Kick out get brought down inside of the 20 here. It was appealing for a high shot, but it doesn't come through that. Sam Hughes now brought down inside of the 30. And it's been a good defensive set so far as Tracy gets brought down inside of the 40 for the last tackle for the Dogs. And it's going to be kicked to Galvin. And it'll go picked up by Jai Gray inside the 20. And he'll get brought down on the 30-metre line for the first tackle for South Sydney. But it's a really good defensive set there by South. So hopefully for South fans, they'll be able to capitalise that as Alex Johnson now the ball. As he runs from dummy half from the tackle from Latrell Mitchell, and you'll get past halfway. And it's recent Good Friday meetings. Obviously, the Bulldogs with a 32-0 win last year, but going back to 2018, barring that 2025 win, it has been all South Sydney. Oh, okay, we've got a problem here. Kiolamatangi is clutching at his hamstring here. About a minute and a half into this game, he's like, was very slow to get up there. Is it a knock on? Yeah, so obviously the Bulldogs nice job by Bailey Hayward of appealing for a knock on despite the player being clearly injured. But anyways, no knock on. So 30 metres out now from the try line. Last tackle for the Bulldogs. And it's a kick out to the corner. That's tackle in there. That should be that's not a penalty. I'm pretty certain that was a tackle in the air there by the Souths, but not been called. But anyways, now the Bulldogs keep going with their attack as that's Montoya. He gets brought down. But again, it's a great defensive plays here by South. As Galvin now, not Galvin, it's Jamin Salma gets brought down inside of the 20 now for the fourth tackle. And it just seems that immediately South Sydney are just keeping the Dogs at bay. Last tackle, they haven't even gone past the 30 as the ball is flicked out to Burton, who goes for a high kick. But Jai Gray will take it now inside of the 30 and gotta say, early game momentum as Jai Gray breaks the line. But he will get wrapped up and brought down on halfway for the first tackle by Max King. But this is a very good start to this match here by South Sydney. They just need to now result in points. Oh, big hit there. And that's something that... Oh, 6 again. 25 out. This is not good. They're saying that the crowd is a 50-50 split, but currently the momentum very much now in favour of South from this going out to the right-hand side. 25 out now, third tackle as that was, I believe it was Tallis Duncan who did the run. And now Walker to Gray. Leaves off to Latrell Mitchell. He gets the offload again. But South is starting to knock on the door here. Fourth out, 15 out. Now run at the guts here to Tola. Now inside of the 10 now. Last tackle for South Sydney. They'll fling it out to the right-hand side. Humphreys with the grubber. It's picked up by Crichton. And Crichton will get wrapped up just past the 10-metre line for the first tackle for the Dogs. But the Dogs need to get a good attacking set out of here. Just at least past the 40 or near halfway. Because if not, then there's a little bit... There we go. Set restart for a ruck infringement. This is something the Dogs needed. So now 4 minutes into the game because it's all been momentum in favour of South Sydney with the good attacking runs and the defensive holding of the Bulldogs in bay. Now the Bulldogs enter South's half for the first time this game as Max King gets brought down on South's 40 for the third tackle. Now Galvin with the ball. And Galvin will get brought down on the 30 now. So now going into the fourth tackle, just trying to see what does end up happening here. They're flinging it off to the left-hand side as it's given off to Samuel Hughes. 20 out now. Now out to the right. The Bulldogs fling it out. Oh, interception! Johnston's on the run, and he's going to keep going. Montoya's trying to chase him. It's the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10, and Alex Johnston increases his standing at the top of the Australian Rugby League try-scoring leaderboard, and it's 4-0 to South Sydney with a kick to come. 5 minutes gone into that game. Well, he's broken the record, guys. Get on the field. But there was a really good bit of attack. I think the pass would have gone out to Montoya, and he may or may not have scored. But yeah, it's just a great run there by Alex Johnson to get the try. Yeah, there we go. Alex Johnson again the first try. Sorry for that. Just completely ignoring of what has happened. But there we go. South Sydney, first try of the match. Alex Johnson, his 97th try at Homebush. So he's only 3 away from scoring 100 tries at a court or Stadium Australia. So that's kind of a mental stat, to say the least. There we go. There's a convenient version by Mitchell. 6.5 gone. It is now 6-0 to South Sydney. But okay, Alex Johnston there getting kicked. It's a very decent crowd. I think it might be more than 50,000 actually, because obviously you've got the Royal Easter Show happening over in the background. But yeah, I think it's... Then again, despite the fact that it did result in an interception and Alex Johnson running the other end and scoring, was a decent little bit of attack there by the Bulldogs, and this is something they need to do, because it was just unfortunately a really good red pass as kick-off now to restart the game. And in comes Totola, who gets brought down inside of the 20 for the first tackle for South Sydney. And now Colin Matangi, who did have a little bit of issues with his hamstring, but he seems to be okay now. Brought down on the 20 for the second, and now for Feeder. Runs straight at Galvin. In that play, brought down just shy of the 30 there for the third tackle. We spread more into the middle as Cameron Murray gives it out now. It's still at the 30 here, so this is still a bit of a better defensive set here as Cameron Murray now gets brought down just before the 40 for the last tackle. So the Bulldogs can keep this going. It could be a close game as an attempted possible go for a 40-20, but it's going to be taken on the 20-metre line on the full by Jacob Carraz. And Carraz will get pretty much just wrapped and held up on the 30-metre line for the first tackle for the Dogs, as we're now 7.5 gone in this game. Can the Bulldogs now trying to get through there as Montoya? Is it Nari Tawala, former Knights player, gets brought down on the Dogs 40 for the third tackle. So at least we're getting good field positioning now for the Bulldogs. Big defensive tackle there on Montoya. There's an offensive tackle. And here's a run here now. The number 12 of Jacob Preston, who'll get brought down on South's 40 now for the last tackle. They're going to fling it out to Burton. Oh, we're going to see a Burton bomb. It's just a high kick. Gray will take it on the 10-metre line and get brought down on it for the first tackle now for South Sydney. It's about 8 minutes now gone in this game. But yeah, now inside of the 30. Now fourth tackle now, but again, more defensive good sets so far by the Bulldogs there. Again, South held back to the 40. And there's Humphreys with the last tackle kick, and it's going to be taken inside of the 20 here by Connor Tracy. And Trace will get brought down on the 30 here as there's looking at the under pressure coaches of Cameron Serrato and Adam O'Brien, as one of the Bulldogs players has gotten dacked at the 30. It was Montoya. Maybe the bloke was trying to check his surgery last year. But the Bulldogs are now just trying to find their way back into South Sydney's half as Max King getting held up near the 40. Now Salmon. And Sam will get brought down on halfway for the last tackle. Flings it out to Galvin. And Galvin will now go for the kick. It'll only go as far as the 20 as Johnston takes it, and he gets immediately wrapped up by Jacob Preston for the first tackles. We're now 9.5 gone. As that's the number 5 there of Campbell Graham, who gets some good post-contact meters. He gets brought down just shy of the 30 for the first tackle. Now Whiten. I don't know why, but I feel like this is like the first time in ages I've actually seen Jack Whiten play. I know he's had issues with injury, but it's kind of mental. I believe that's Fafita now the ball, and he'll get held up around South's 40 on the left-hand side of the field for the 4th tackle. Now Gray trying to find a gap, but he can't find it, so just shy of halfway will be the last tackle. And it's a high boot, and it's going to be taken on the 10 by Connor Tracy. Tracy trying to find a potential pass, but he'll get wrapped up and brought down on the 20-metre line for the first tackle for the Bulldogs. Now the Bulldogs is trying to find their way, go through up the gut, sort of, in a bit of a weird sense. As Crichton now with the ball. He hasn't got much of it so far in the opening part of this matchup. I feel like if the Bulldogs were able to get stuff done, he would kind of need to get more of it. Sam Hughes now with the ball, and he gets brought down right on halfway for the 4th tackle. So I feel like in terms of attacking sets, and Sam Hughes is clutching the back of his head, trying to go for a crusher. It's interesting. It is kind of interesting how the NRL complains about is it a crusher? That's not a crusher, but it's interesting how now it's like, NRL fans complain about the reason they hate football/soccer is because of diving and pretending to be hurt. Yet that's what NRL players are doing now when it comes like the crushers, because they're trying to get the referee's attention with it. But there was a last tackle kick from the Bulldogs which is caught by Jai Gray on the 10-metre line. Now Johnson will get brought down inside the 20, so this is better defensive set. Bit of a interesting run here, and they're flinging it out to the right as Walker to Johnston, and Johnson will get brought down just shy of the Rabbitohs 40 for the 4th tackle. Flings it out more so towards the middle to Fafita. But yeah, it's still been so far. I feel like in the last couple of minutes, there's actually been better attack so far by the Dogs. The ball is bounced, however, and it's a big run through, and Tracy has not been able to hold on to himself, but it's almost resulted in a try. But Jamie Humphreys gets brought down inside the 10. It'll be a changeover, but that was a very shaky defense there by the Dogs. Because if it wasn't really defense, but if Tracy, he lets the ball bounce and he just got completely outrun, and I'm surprised that the very lucky bounce has resulted in Tracy not giving up a try, but Kickout gets wrapped up on the 10-metre line for the 3rd tackle, and this is, again, one thing I have to say about South is they're keeping the Dogs at bay is very good. So as Carrez gets brought down for the 4th tackle, but only past the 20. And Max King will get brought down for the last tackle, only at the Dogs 30. That was almost a knock-on as well. So Burton now with a kick. And they'll be taken by Jai Gray on the 20-metre line inside of South's half. Oh, is that a high shot there by Salmon? It's not called, but first tackle on the 30. Now Graham. Graham now just shy of the 40 now for the 2nd tackle. They're just trying to get through the middle at the moment. Now Whiten. And White gets brought down just shy of halfway for the 3rd tackles. We're now 13.5 gone in this game. Now the South's looking to go to their left-hand side. Flats out to Johnston. Johnston's got nobody. Gives it out to Latrell. And just like that, Latrell... No, it's a forward pass. They've called it forward, and I think that's the right call, honestly. But then, once again, it's just showing how that left edge has been very important for South Sydney. Was it a forward pass? Yep. Yeah, but the 2 tries that the Bulldogs scored last week where they were forward passes won't get called. It's just mental to me that we're in 2026 and the bunker can't rule on forward passes. It's like they can rule on a player being offside, and they can rule on if it was like knocked in the decision going forwards or backwards, but they can't rule on a knock on. But 14 minutes gone, scrum feed for the Bulldogs on the 30, and it's honestly pretty lucky so far, the Dogs, because realistically they should be down by more than 6. Now Max King there with the ball. He'll get brought down just shy of half an hour. He gets an offload off. Nope, they'll say the tackle was held. Just shy of halfway for the second tackle. Now you got Hughes, who ran up the middle. He will now enter South Sydney's half now. 45 away from the try line for the third tackle. Flings it out to the left-hand side. He got kick out. Gets an offload to Burton. Burton trying to make something of his own. He will get 25 away from the try line now. Fourth tackle for the Bulldogs. Now to Salmon. To Galvin. Flat ball. Doesn't really work there for Preston. Last tackle. 15 out. Here goes Galvin. Flat ball. And that's going to be a knock-on by Nari Tawala. And Jai Gray. That's a high shot by Marcelo Montoya. But that doesn't get called. Oh, now it does. I don't think it's even was a high shot penalty, but it was a different penalty. But there we go. South Sydney getting the penalty. Unfortunately, yeah, I think the pass was just a little too low there from Galvin. Right idea, but to get the ball into the short passing there for Anari Tawala. So 15 and a half gone, right at the 30. The scrum feed. Not the scrum feed, the kick into touch. So now they're just trying to fling it out there as Murray gets brought down past the 40 for the second tackle. But yeah, thank you all for joining this. So it's on your Good Friday. As South Sydney now enter the Bulldogs half as for feeder again. 35 away from the try line, fourth tackle. But there has been positive attacking forces so far. And the pass is all the way gone out. But it is picked up by South Sydney, by Campbell Graham. So Selby last tackle. Unfortunately, it's gone near back to halfway. And this is going to be a kick by Humphreys. And it's going to be Tracy who catches it. No, it's Kiraz who catches it on the 10. He'll get brought down on the 20-metre line for the first tackle. It actually was Tracy. Okay, now the Bulldogs just need some momentum to go there. Well, I think they need like a set restart or a penalty to get them into proper attacking form. Here comes Tawala now with the ball. And Tawala gets brought down on the Dogs 40 for the third tackle. So we're now 17 minutes gone in this first half. And the Bulldogs are trying to spread it to their left. And that's better down. There'll be a set restart now as it's Kiraz. So Kiraz running up the line. He's trying to find some kind of gaps. They're trying to go through here. But Latrell was able to get a tackle on Preston. But that will be the 0 tackle. So a 7 tackle set now inside of South's half. This is the proper chance now for the Dogs to answer back. Now down to the left-hand side here. Pass out to Cry, and that's gone forward. And it's going to be play on South Sydney now. Campbell Graham. And Graham will get brought down into Bulldogs territory for the first... Is it first or 0 tackle? It's a 0 tackle, yeah, because I think it was just a forward pass there. But now South Sydney, just as we probably had a momentum shift there for the Dogs, now a huge chance for South to put more points on the board. As that's the number 12 of Tallis Duncan now, 30 away from the try line for the second tackle. I'll spread it now more middly. Murray to Walker. Now to Latrell. He's tried to bat it out to Alex Johnson and it's gone too far and it's gone into touch inside the 30. But yeah, to be completely honest, I think the fact that it's only been 6-0, I think it's been a good thing for the Bulldogs because respectfully, it should be a bit more, but... they're doing well to hold on in this current scenario, so it's not the worst sort of situation. And here we go, run from the guts there by the Bulldogs. It's Crichton inside the 40, and now here's Kikau. As Kiko will get brought down on the held up on the 40 actually for the second tackle. Still inside their own half here. Run from dummy half here by Hayward. And he'll get into South's half now for the third tackle. Salmon to Galvin to Tracy, trying to find a gap. He'll get brought down 35, I think 30 away from the try line. King giving it off to Burton. Burton trying to find some type of gap, but he'll get held up again, sort of near the 30 for the last tackle. So we've now got 19 and a half gone in this game. Galvin with the ball. Flings it out to Tracy. Now to Tawala. Tawala gets the pass to Montoya. And Montoya has somehow stayed in play, but I think they might need to have a look at that because I think his foot might have gone on the line. But the referee has awarded the try. But we're going to have a quick check to see if quite possibly Marcelo Montoya has stayed in play. I'm not 100% sure, but we could be possibly having a try. Does he stay in? Or it's very close. They're going to have a proper look at this, but I feel like if he hasn't done it, then absolute fair play to him, but I feel like his foot has to have stepped on the line. Here we go. Tawala, immaculately flip pass. Still in play. Still in play. He's still in play. Unbelievable. Marcelo Montoya has stayed in play. It's like that much that kept it in play. But that is a good try there. And the Bulldogs could possibly tie it with a conversion here as we enter the final 19 minutes of the half. But man, that was a brilliant bit of strength there by Marcelo Montoya. Just brilliant. There we go. 18 and minutes 50. Here goes Crichton for the conversion attempt to make it 6-all. And the kick is good. 6-all. 18 minutes 48 remaining. And big ups Marcelo Montoya, who's... I've just realised his entire left arm is basically bandaged. Kind of like Cowboy Bob Orton type beat. If that makes any sense for some people's references. There you go, Marcelo Montoya. And I just realised with the bet I've put on, Alex Johnson has already scored. I actually need Kiraz and Preston to score for the Dogs. So I need the Jacobs to pull up clutch as the Rabbitohs kick off to restart this matchup. And it's a run up the guts here by West Maitland boy Max King. Inside of the 10 here for the first tackle. Obviously, back in the middle 2010s, this was a pretty good fixture because, I mean, this was the 2014 Grand Final, the Dogs and the Rabbitohs. And now there's a run here by Hughes. Hughes now just trying to do whatever he possibly can as Galvin gets brought down now on the 40 for the fourth tackle. So hopefully for Dogs fans, there's wind underneath the wings. I'm trying to get that reference right, but I think it was absolutely butchered attempt. Anyways, just inside of the Bulldogs, Rabbitohs half, Titans, what the fuck? The last tackle, but Jai Gray takes the catch on the 10, and Gray will get held up inside of the 20 for the first tackle of this new set. And now Johnston goes run up through the middle here. It's just really interesting to see that with the kicks, it's just more so the backs doing the running, where it's like your players like your Graham, your... Oh, here's a breakthrough run here. It's a brilliant run here by Tallis Duncan. And Duncan tried to get a step through, and he just couldn't find anyone. He slips over here. Third tackle. The Bulldogs now need to do another big defensive step up. 25 away from the try line now. Fafita brought down for the fourth tackle. But it was a great run there by Tallis Duncan. Now 15, it's Hubner. 25 out now. Last tackle for South Sydney. It's a chipped kick. It's a race. And I believe Latrell's got it. I think he's gotten the ball down. And the referee's pointed to the spot. It's now 10-6 to South Sydney. They might need to just review the grounding a little bit quickly, but he definitely got there first. But I just about if he got it down just before the line, which I feel like he did. But we'll just have a quick look. But what a run there by Tallis Duncan. He could have resulted in a try himself. He tries to step past Connor Tracy and he goes arse overhead. Yep. Mitchell's offside. I thought the kick was too heavy, but it just kips up just... Oh, I don't know. It looks like maybe the palm got to it, but I feel like it could be a miss. Let's have a look. They've slowed it down. No. There has to be downward pressure on the ball, I reckon. But also the fact is the Bunnies did get awarded the try. Yeah, he's put it down, yep. There's downward pressure, there's a hand on it, and Latrell has put South Sydney back in front. And now is an attempt to convert his own try. His 4th try of the season, his 13th against the Dogs. So 15 minutes 40 remaining in this matchup. And it's still a close game. Who would have thought the Bulldogs having a low-scoring close game? It's amazing. But here we go. Here's the kick now from Latrell Mitchell to make this 12 points to 6. It was going centre, but it swinged off to the left-hand side, so it's going to remain 10 points to 6 with 15 and a half remaining in this game. Is there a fucking ice cream truck? I think there's an ice cream truck in my area. Anyways, there's kick-off by South Sydney. To South Sydney as Colin Matangi gets the ball and he gets brought down inside the 20 for the first tackle. But yeah, it's been one of those weird sort of instances. But Fafita now with the ball, and he gets brought down just shy of the 30 for the third tackle. And now it's run up the middle there by, I think it's by Humphreys. And now it's going off to Cameron Murray. Gets brought down just shy of halfway now for the last tackle. As we're now about 14 and a half remaining in this first half. And there's the kick by South Sydney. And Bulldogs take it inside of the 10. It's Kiraz. Kira's trying to find a gap, but he won't get one as he gets brought down inside of the 20 for the first tackle for the Bulldogs. Oh, and it's a simple pass to Crichton, and Crichton has lost the ball 15 out, and we've got a huge chance for South Sydney to increase their lead here, but that's a really unfortunate thing there for Stephen Crichton. Basically, pass right to him there from Burton. He's tried to catch it, but unfortunately, I think it's hit his body before it hit his hands, and it's just gone hayward here. So now 13, and it's a penalty now for the South Sydney. I think it was just improper. I don't think they were ready for the scrum, I think, was what happened. It was a time violation penalty. So, I guess the question is what is South going to do? Go for the try, surely. Yep, they're going to go for the tap. What's going on? Why are you going for the 2? But yeah, to be completely honest, so South Sydney have elected to go for the conversion from the time-wasting penalty, but I just go for the try, lads. But here we go. Here is the conversion attempt. This to make it a 6-point lead and make it 12-6. We've now got less than 13 minutes remaining in this matchup. And the kick is up and the kick is good. So 12-6 now to South Sydney, 12.5 now remaining in this matchup. It's first half. But yeah, I just think that the Dogs, I don't know, I just feel it's a bit weird where it's like you've had a bit of a momentum in the last couple of minutes with your attack. You get a penalty, and then you just decide. You also get the gifted opportunity for field position anyway with the knock on by Crichton. Just maybe go for a try there. I just don't know. So Kwalamantangi gets a hit up from the kickoff, and he'll get dragged back to the 10 for the first tackle. Now for feeder. Now inside of the 20. But just trying to get through now to past the 30. Now to Cameron Murray. The ball's popped out backwards here. Still play on. As that's Mamazelis. Brought down on the South 40 for the fourth tackle. It's going to just be up the run. There was nothing much of a run there as Hubner gets brought down. So just shy of halfway now for the last tackle. And it's given for Humphreys with the kick. And it's going to be kicked into the left corner. And it's going to be taken by Connor Tracy. And Tracy will get wrapped up just past the 10-metre line for the Bulldogs. Now Kiras with the ball tries to go through the centre. And it's going to be a half. And so number 20 there, Lapoi Hopoi, brought down just on the 30 for the third tackle. And now Montoya, the try scorer for the Bulldogs. And Bulldogs just trying to find some type of gap. Kick out to Crichton. Now to Carraz. Carraz trying to find a gap to run. Carraz trying to get an offload. But it's going to be taken by Campbell Graham. And it's now gone into touch. So Bulldogs will be getting a full set inside of South's half. So a bit of a mistake there by Campbell Graham. So Kiraz trying to get the offload off, and Graham tries to grab it, but he loses it over touch. So here we go. 40 out, full set of 6. Hapoi now gets brought down 30 away from the try line for the first tackle. Now Tupanua. And Tupanua gets brought down 20 away from the try line. Second tackle. And it's a set restart for a ruck infringement. Pass through the guts. And Hotboy trips over and just can't complete the run to score. 5 out now for the Bulldogs. Burton trying to find a gap. And he gets brought down again on the left-hand side. 5 out. Second tackle. 9.5 remaining in this first half. Galvin. Now it's just flinging it out. Preston. And Preston gets held up again in the 10 now on the right-hand side, actually. Third tackle, 9 minutes 20 remaining. The Bulldogs trying to find some gap. It's Kurt Mann to Galvin. Galvin with the grubber. Tupanua's rushing. And, Galvin has scored. But I don't know if there's a situation if Tupanua's kicked it and Galvin's offside. But I think it should be alright. But I mean, probably the Bulldogs player with the most pressure coming into this game, getting a try and taking advantage of a massive gap that opened up on South's right hand side. No, Tupanua doesn't touch that. I thought it was a possibility he kicked it, but Galvin's able to ground it. But yeah, I don't think there should be anything wrong with that. And I think it should just be a try for the Dogs. So they're just trying to check to see possibly if Whiten grounded that, but he didn't. So it should be a Bulldogs try. So 8 minutes gone. First try of the season there for Lockie Galvin. But yeah, such a massive gap opening up on the South Sydney's right wing. Yep, try confirmed. There was nothing wrong with it anyway. So 12 points to 10. And just like that, the Bulldogs... Here we go. So the conversion attempt here by Crichton. This to make it 12 all with 7.5 remaining. And the kick is good. Is that's Emilio, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I think it's Emilio. But yeah, there we go. Lachlan Galvin, 7.5 now remaining. Now for it's 7. There's a kickoff attempt now by South Sydney as Kiraz takes the kick and gives the pass off to Hopboy. He gets brought back to the 10 for the first tackle now for this new set. I think it's really impressive, especially with like some of the attacking momentum that South Sydney have had in this game, that the Bulldogs have kept it close. Not only that, they've now levelled it. If the Bulldogs can go into the sheds in front, that would be really impressive with how they've gone. There's a run there, Tuala. And Tuala's broken free from the tackle, and he'll get brought down past halfway. And it's Latrell just keeping on dragging and putting him down to the ground, but it's just dragging him closer to the try line. Tupanua brought down 30 away from the try line now, 4th tackle. Bulldogs, can they get something to go through? They go to their left-hand side again. Crichton trying to find a gap. Gets the ball to Galvin. But Galvin will get held up 20 away now. Last tackle, 6.5 remaining. And it's a kick to the right-hand side by Burton. Battered backwards by the Bulldogs. But it's been picked up by South Sydney. But it's a penalty to the Bulldogs for, I believe it's an accidental offside. Right, huge chance here for the Dogs. What do they do here? Do they go for the 2 to take the lead, or do they go for the try? And the camera's on Crichton. Are they going to go for the 2? Yep, they're going to go for the 2 here. So the Bulldogs will have their first lead of this matchup with a successful conversion attempt from 20 metres out. Right, so just waiting for now this conversion attempt as we'll go into the last 5 minutes of this first half of the Bulldogs taking the lead. Yeah, there actually is an ice cream truck going about. It's mental. So here we go, Crichton. This to make it 14 points to 12, as I just need to probably fix up this... And the conversion attempt, we're just waiting for it, is successful. And the Bulldogs have their first lead of the matchup. Now 14 points to 12 to the Bulldogs with about... Yes, 4 minutes 40 remaining now in this first half. But it's been a pretty interesting game to say nonetheless. But... yeah, it's just one of those interesting games here. So you've got Hapoi now with from the hit up. If the Bulldogs can get a try in this current situation, this would be, and possibly go into the sheds with like an 8-point lead. That would be mental and ridiculous. But anyways,
He's Tupanua. I feel like Satili Tupanua has been a revelation since coming on here for the Dogs. He's given them a bit more oomph, if that makes sense. Preston now the ball. Preston now brought down on the Dogs 40 for the 4th tackle. Now the Dogs possibly teasing going to the left-hand side. Now flings it out to Galvin. Galvin with the high kick. And it's going to be taken by Johnson on the 20. Oh, it's a forced knock on. Tuwala's picked it up. And Tuwala, it's a tackle. It's a tackle. They've got to play the ball. Tupanua, yes. Satili Tupanua has been a revelation for the Bulldogs since coming on the field. And he's now gotten a try to result in it. And it's now 18-12 to the Bulldogs with a kick to come. And what a flip on its head this script has been, with the Bulldogs now very much likely now going into the sheds in front, but Satili Tupanua getting it done. There's the kick from Galvin as Johnson had to run up to it and get a brilliant pressure there by Moncella Montoya, and then a great run by Anari Tuwala. But what a brilliant run there by Satili Tupanua. The trial's already been confirmed. Oh, yeah, the strength there. That's just brilliant. That's just brilliant stuff there by the Dogs. But here we go, Satili Tupanua getting his try off the bench. And it's a possibility now with this conversion attempt to make it an 8-point lead to the Bulldogs as we're going now into the final 2 minutes of this first half. But Anari Tuwala, former Knights player. I generally think Anari Tuwala is probably one of the unsung heroes of the centres. He's actually such a solid player. And I feel like he doesn't get enough regard. But here comes the conversion attempt now from the sideline. Literally almost kissing it. Crichton with the kick, and he scuffed it. So we'll be 18 points to 12 now, as we've got a minute 40 remaining in this first half. But yeah, this has been one of those interesting matchups. But yeah, the plan for this will be the only game we do of the NRL today. But we've got some derbies, proper English derbies, coming up tonight, as we've got the Hull derby, you got the Super League derby, you got the Good Friday derby between St Helens and Wigan, and also in the morning tomorrow you've got the West Yorkshire derby between Bradford and Leeds. And here's the kickoff now from the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs can get 80 more points on the board. This will be a really big and welcome change here, as Hapoi is attempted to get dragged into touch there by South, but it doesn't work. But still inside the 10 here, so this will probably be the last set for the Bulldogs this half, as Burton gets an offload and get brought down inside the 30 for the second tackle. So now less than 90 seconds remaining now in this first half. Flat ball there to Spinks. It was actually Preston, actually. He gets brought down on the 30 for the third tackle. As Preston's taking his time getting up. And Kurt Mann now gets brought down past the 30. And it's an early attempted 40-20 attempt. It's a squib kick, but it won't go near the sideline, as Jai Gray will pick it up inside of the 20 for the first tackle. And he'll get brought down in it for the first. So 40 seconds now remaining. Can South Sydney get something done? But unfortunately, they're about 80 metres away from where they need to be. And they're just showing a state in the last 10 minutes, it's been 100% possession for the Bulldogs. Which is mental to say here, as that is now chip and chase here by Latrell Mitchell, and Jai Gray tried to take it on the full, but he gets the bounce, and Gray held on to play in now. Fourth tackle, just shy of halfway. This will be the last 10 seconds or so. Oh, the ball's popped out here, still play on. That's going to be a knock on anyways. So we're going to go into the sheds at half time after what's been an early swing, of big hit of momentum for South Sydney. The Bulldogs have come back strong as Jai Gray seems to be in worse for wear, but as it's going to go into the sheds, 18-12 in favour of the Bulldogs. But I mean, this has been a good game. Been a good game, and the Dogs definitely going into the sheds the happier. But man, what a game. But it's just really good to see from the Dogs. I mean, they're like, their attack is actually starting to seem proper, especially after the amount of criticism that has come their way within the last week following their loss to the Knights. And I'm not just saying that it's like, oh they lost to the Knights as like as a joke thing, but it's like, yeah, it's been good to see them do well in this current situation. But back-to-back tries, Bulldogs now in front. Really makes you question the decision from South there when they were 10-6 up and they decided to go for the conversion instead of the try, as the Dogs still not in the sheds actually. They're still on the field having a big old chat. But I mean, yeah, looks like it's South now currently on the back foot. So the Bulldogs need to switch on. I mean, no, South need to switch on, but the Bulldogs just need to keep it firing and going because they've been going absolutely brilliant so far in the first half. Okay, so we're just putting up a question in the halftime for the halftime poll. Is who will score first in the second half? Will it be the Bulldogs or the Rabbitohs? Because Rabbitohs it could be a tied game, but if it is the unfortunately if it is the Rabbitohs, if it is the Bulldogs, then we straight up could just have a situation where it's just a Bulldogs could run away with it. Yeah, it's just one of those weird, interesting games, but it has been fun to watch. Yeah, just waiting now because we've got a bit of period now until the the start of the second half. But if you've got any thoughts, is anyone bets or multis going? Let us know in the comments below, or in the chat actually. Not comments. It's not a video. It's a live stream. But yeah, it's just been one of those weird type of matches here from this second half. It's just going into this second half. It's going to be one of those interesting games. And we've got a vote in the poll already, and it says that the Rabbitohs will score first. It's definitely what they need to do, but I just think South have been on the back foot the last sort of 20 minutes or so. But they've had that's the thing. In the first 20, they had like a lot of chances to score. They had that bit of a scuffed kick that could have resulted in Humphrey scoring. They had Latrell going over, but it was a forward pass from Johnston. I just think this game genuinely could have been a lot more in favour of South Sydney on the scoreboard. But unfortunately now they're just away. But yeah, it's just one of those weird side of type of halves, It's just But we could generally have the possibility of this being a very good second half. You just don't know. I feel like if I had to pick in terms of who has been the best players on the field at the moment, I don't know. It's been hard. I think everyone's been pretty even. I think Tupouniua's been really good for not for South Sydney. Tupouniua's been good for the Bulldogs since coming on the field. I think Fafita's also been pretty solid so far for the Bunnies. So just the forwards in it is the only people I can keep my eye on. So yeah, it's just one of those weird things, I guess. But yeah, we're just waiting now for the start of this second half because we've still got like a bit of time before it begins. But I think look, camera glitching. It's like I've got like some like weird effect on it, but I promise I don't. But just been noticing a lot of AFL lads at the moment during this half time. Like, I understand KO also does the AFL, but it's just sort of one of those weird ones. But yeah, it's just South Sydney just... After the first, 10, 15 minutes or so, it's just been mostly all Dogs. And it's obviously now resulted in the Dogs now taking the lead, but it's just, yeah... Just a bit weird how this situation has formulated itself, but the second half should be brilliant. We should actually... They'll talk about it in commentary about how, this game going into the 75th minute, it still won't be known who wins this game. Which, I mean, for a close game, you'd hope so. But yeah, you just don't know. You just don't know what's at all. So we've still got probably about 5, a bit more, probably maybe around 10 or so minutes until the start of the second half. But yeah, it's just one of those weird ones. We're just now waiting now for the start of this second half. So we're just trying to spitball. If you are looking to be able to watch the game, you just go to create the 9 Now account, and that's the way to do it. You watch it on your browser and that type thing. Not sponsored. That's just the way to do it. But yeah, it's one of those ones where unfortunately, I just thought that that South would have just kept this going and just go, because the left side attack's been really good for them, but the right side attack has opened up a lot of holes, and I think it's because with the left now moving away to try to get that through, it's now resulted in there just being a continual holes in the line for the Bunnies. But yeah, we still got another 40 minutes left of football to talk about here for this Good Friday match. But you just don't know. You just do not know. But yeah, so if the Bulldogs haven't had to play, the Bulldogs actually have a decent attack. It's I think it's a bit of a revelation, especially in comparison to last week. But yeah, we're just trying to figure it out now with the... Oh, we got more votes now currently in for the poll. And it's very similar to what we had in terms of the Who Wins poll. 2 votes in favour of Rabbitohs, 1 for the Bulldogs, and who will score first in the second half. But yeah, I think it's pretty crucial for South. To get back into this game quicker, they need to score first. Just now waiting to see from the start of this second half. We've just got a bit of time. Yeah, we've just been a good half of football. I really don't know how to talk. I've really just been yapping. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I just think that Dogs should just keep this going, and I think they should be okay. But yeah, South need to really forcibly force back control. Just talking to one of my mates who is a Bulldogs fan, and I've just messaged him saying that, in my personal opinion, I think Satili Tupanoa should be starting over Valami Kikia. Don't know if that's a controversial take or not. I personally don't think it is, because it's just, I feel like he's been a bit more oompher, a bit more ticker in games. But yeah, we're just now waiting for all this to just get ready, and we're ready for the start of this second half. We're almost there. We're in the final bit of the ad breaks, but yeah, this has just been boring as all piss. But yeah, we're just now just trying to get through to here, but just waiting to... Almost there. Just trying to figure out specifically about who could be the difference maker in that, but you just don't know. But yeah, just waiting now for the start of this second half. We should almost be there. Come on, there we go. We're back now for the second half as the Bulldogs. Honestly, with the way it's been going in the early stages of the match, you wouldn't expect it to be an 18-12 lead, but the Bulldogs have switched on in the latter stages of this second half, have now lead 18 points to 12 going into the final half of this matchup. But the Bulldogs just need to keep this going, and they should be okay. But South Sydney need to fix their holes desperately. That was a bit weird. I mean, they need to fix their issues with the in regards to the gaps in their line, which has been a bit of a problem. But now South Sydney coming out onto the field. They need their big players to step up. They need their Latrells. They need their Fafitas. They need their everybody to step up if they want to wrestle back control of this matchup. So it will be the Bulldogs running screen right, and it will be South Sydney getting first possession in this second half. So there you go. Let's see what my Bulldogs mate has said about my take on it. Basically saying that Kikau's lazy, and it's like, yeah, Kikau's a But yeah, here we go. The Rabbitohs now back onto the field, getting first possession of the ball, and they need to just... It's going to be interesting to see how this all does play out, but... Oh, there we are. But one thing I will be saying is we should be able to get our first vlog for the NRL soon, as we'll be going to watch the Knights, because we're actually members now, so we'll be able to watch the Knights take on Canberra on Sunday, which should be a good matchup. So here we go, Bulldogs. Set the kick-off and we're underway as Clomatunga gets brought down inside the 10 for the first tackle. Now you got Fafita. Now just trying to get through the line. Latrell gets brought down on the 30 for the third tackle. And now you got South just trying to find some Mamazelis. Gets brought down now on the 40 for the fourth tackle now with 30 seconds gone in this second half. Now to Whiten. It's not even Whiten, my apologies. But now just getting it out to the line. That's going to be a last tackle kick. We'll just see what the Bulldogs do in response. We should actually end the poll here. So it'll remain just about the same with a 2-1 in favour of the Rabbitohs. More saying of they will score first in this second half. So Karaz now gets held up past the Bulldogs 20 for the second tackle. Now it's a run for Crichton. Crichton gets past the 30 for the third. Still being more central here, just testing the line out. As it's Karaz now, just shy of halfway for the fourth tackle. It's Galvin, who now gets the ball off to Hopboy. And Hopboy crosses halfway now. So this will be last tackle for the Dogs, as we're now a minute and a half gone in the second half of this Good Friday matchup. High kick in the air. And it's taken by Jai Gray, who gets wrapped up by Montoya and gets brought down on the 10 for the first tackle. And now that's Campbell Graham being dragged back here. We'll say Campbell Graham has not been involved as much as I'd like to. Even Jack White. And I feel like it's only been the left side of Johnston and Mitchell that's been actually doing stuff, as the Rabbitohs are being dragged back. They're back inside the 10 now for the third tackle. There's been a big defensive set. This is the same type of defense that the Bunnies had in the first half to kick that off. There you got Colomatungi there. Gets brought down only 25 on the 25 metres for the last tackle. And here they need a big kick here, the Bunnies. And it'll be kicked into the centre of the field as Connor Tracy takes it on the 20. And Tracy will get up to the 40-metre line for the first tackle. Possible take of a penalty here as Montoya brought in just shy of halfway for the second tackle. Now Tuala. Tuala now gets to the South's 40 for the third tackle. So first possible threat of a possible try here is Montoya again. Gets brought down 35 away from the try line. Fourth tackles. We're now 3 minutes gone into this game's second half. Burton off to Galvin. Now to Crichton. Crichton trying to break the line, but it's a good wrap-up tackle there by Graham. Now 25 out. Last tackle for the Bulldogs as Crichton is taking his time to get up. I think... Oh, no, that is a problem. I think it's his shoulder possibly. But it's a last tackle high kick. Gray goes for it. And Jai Gray takes it inside the 15. But yeah, Crichton is in agony. He's clutching his right shoulder. This is not good for the Bulldogs. As Jai Gray's also hurt. Just need to see what's happened here with Stephen Crichton. If that's a shoulder injury, that is a massive problem. His arm, all the pressure has come down on his, basically right here on his right shoulder. Could there be issues of an AC joint? But he's been down for a bit. But yeah, you just don't know what's going to happen with shoulder injuries, but that could be very serious. Jai Gray's now back up on, but Crichton is still in agony. It generally might be one of those ones that they need to pop back in its socket, possibly. But yeah, this is a very scary moment if you're a Dogs fan. Crichton, yeah, I think Crichton's done for this game. He's literally like, he was biting down on his headgear. I think something's horribly wrong with his shoulder. And that is not good. So 36 minutes in, Bronson Jerry now comes in at centre. But that is, there's a bit of concern on the face of the coaches. Okay, no, that's not what happened here. So Burton's gone to the centres. Now, it's actually Sean O'Sullivan who's come on. So O'Sullivan will go to the 5'8", whilst Galvin... Oh, no, O'Sullivan will go to halfback, and then Galvin goes to 5'8", and then Burton moves into the centres. So South... Oh, and it's a penalty here for South Sydney. Fafita goes for the tap, but he doesn't. But it was a high shot there. Was it a high shot? Yeah, it was a bit of a swinging arm there by Tupanua. But yeah, a bit of a silly one to give away there personally by Tupanua. Kicking to touch now, 45 metres away from the try line. A full set of 6 here for South Sydney. With this luck that's now swung their way, could they be the team to get the first try of this second half? Now the Bunnies now going down to the left-hand side edge of their attack for Feeder. Gets held up, 10 out now. Fourth tackle now for South Sydney. To Walker. Kolmatangi. To Whiten. One gets held back. 15 away now. Last tackle for South Sydney. They go down to the right-hand side. It's a grubber kick. It's been taken by Carraz. And Carraz will be tackled in the in-goal, so it will be a goal line dropout. As Peter Mamazelis is talking about, there was a decision. He's appealing something. Yeah, I think Mamazelis is appealing that he was held in the run. But here we go. Here's the goal line dropout by the Dogs, and they've decided to boot it from halfway. So it's an AC joint injury for Stephen Crichton. They're assessing it now, so he's not been ruled out just yet. Might be one of those ones where if they want him to play most of the games this season, he needs to have pain injections. And it's a penalty for a crush attack. Oh, it's just a penalty for a high shot now. As South Sydney are now just getting ample field positioning. Like the Dogs kind of look lost now that Crichton's off the field. And Jai Gray gets the bullet blast. I didn't see that. And just like that, Tallis Duncan goes over. And the majority votes were correct. South Sydney will get the first try of the second half as Talon Duncan goes over. As we now have a possibility for a conversion attempt to go 18 all in this match. There we go, 16-18. Oh, it's a fun. Kurt Mann absolutely crushes Dry Gray with that flat ball, but there we go. Tallis Duncan, 1 try, 2 line break, 76 metres. It's a good showing. I might need to actually have a look at my NRL fantasy, because I think I've got a couple of players involved in this game. bit buns is basically the consensus point for that. It's just been not great. But here we go. 8 minutes now gone in this second half, and South Sydney now just to seem to have all the momentum here at the moment. The Bulldogs just need to dig deep and find something, because it looks like Crichton may possibly be out for the rest of the match, and for who knows how long. But anyways, 18 all. And here's a run here by Kolomatangi. He gets brought down on the 10-metre line for the first tackle. Now for Feeder. Been driven sideways now into the middle of the field for the second tackle. And now that is 16 of Sean Kepi. Just shy of the 20 there for the third tackle. And it's the number 15 there of Hubner. Just shy of the 30 here for the fourth tackle. Kolomatangi again gets another carry for this set. There he gets brought down just inside of the 40 for the last tackle. And it's a kick by Latrell Mitchell. Possible aiming for a 40-20, but Montoya was there to pick it up inside the 20. And Montoya runs straight at Walker and gets brought down past the 30 for the first tackle for the Bulldogs, as we're now 9 minutes gone in this second half as Tuala runs up middle through the line. Brought down just shy of the 40 for the second tackle. And now Kiraz. Just shy of halfway here. It's starting to get cloudy, it says, the weather. Galvin. Now to Tupanua. Tupanua now 40 away from the try line for the fourth tackle. And a flat ball, and it's just gone... bounced in just straight into Kurt Mann and gone forward, and it's going to be a knock on there. So on the 30, I'll sort myself out. You're going to order something?
That's why I'm asking you. I'll sort it after the game.
Okay. Anyways, now 30 minutes now remaining officially in this matchup, and we've got a scrum feed and around halfway for the South Sydney Rabbitohs, and it's just been one of those weird instances of a game. Here we go, the scrum feed on the 40, and it's given off to Jai Gray. Gray trying to find a gap, but he just can't. Just shy of halfway now for the first tackle. And now that's Kepi brought down on halfway for the second tackle. Now Hubner. Hubner now enters the Dogs half now, 40 away, third tackle. Now just trying to get passes down the line. A big hit there on Duncan. And Duncan now 30 away from the try line, fourth tackle. South now going to their left-hand side. They've got Gray. Gray can't break through. He gets wrapped up by Galvin. 30 out, last tackle for South Sydney. They go to the short side. Walker with a chip and chase, and the ball just go out into touch out of the 10. And it will just be a play the ball by the Bulldogs. So now it's from the first tackle, so it's Kiraz who's taking the hit up. And he gets brought down inside of the 30 for the second tackle for the Dogs. So now 28.5 minutes remaining. So Mann gives it off to Galvin. Now to Salmon. Or is it it's actually Preston on the 30 for the third. Now Tupanua. Flat ball to Kurt Mann. Possible talk about it being forward, but it's not called. And Kurt Mann gets held up just shy of the 40 now. Now Tracy. Gets brought down to halfway for the last tackle for the Dogs. And flings it off to O'Sullivan, and O'Sullivan goes for the kick. It'll be aimed straight towards Jai Gray. It'll be taken down on the 10 for the first tackle. So Campbell Graham takes the tackle, and he will get brought down on the 20-metre line for the first tackle, and it's a penalty to South Sydney. A holding down penalty. But yeah, the commentator's just brought up not many set restarts. I think it's only been about 1 or 2. Swan the 40 here inside of South's half. So it's Jack White who takes the carry. It's 5 penalties to 1, so you know what that means. The people are going to be complaining about how the referees are in favour of South, despite the fact because that's the only reason a penalty count would be lopsided. Yeah, it's a flat ball there. Just trying to find a way for South Sydney to keep breaking through. Walker almost breaking the line there. 4th tackle, 30 out from the try line. To Jai Gray now, 25 out now, last tackle. Mummy-Zells with a kick over the top. There's no fullback there, but it's going to bounce too heavy. Will it? No, it doesn't. And it's going to be a penalty to the Bulldogs because Connor Tracy was pushed into the... attempted to be pushed into the ball by Cody Walker. He does touch it, but there's the kick into touch, and the ball will be placed on the Bulldogs 40. So can the Bulldogs try to wrestle back some kind of momentum, because it's just not been there so far this second half, as we're now about 14 gone in this patch of play. So about 26 minutes to go. Tupanua gets brought down on halfway for the second tackle. Now flings it off now to left-hand side. He's got kick out. Gets an offload. Dogs are still going here. You got Galvin. Now to Preston. Preston just trying to find some type of gap now. 35 away from the try line. Third tackle. Now they give the ball to O'Sullivan. The line's gone all the way back, but Kiros has now got the ball. Kiros trying to find a gap, but he can't find anything. And he gets brought down on the left-hand side, 25 away from the try line for the 4th tackle. They'll go now to the middle here as they try to find some type of gap. Flat ball to Tupanua. That looked forward. Doesn't get called, but 25 out. Last tackle. Galvin passes it to Preston. Tries to get an offload off. And the Rabbitohs just end up with it. With Marmazelis bouncing on it. Bouncing on the ball. Shit. And penalty to South Sydney for an offside. That's a bit of an awkward phrasing there. I do apologise. There's the kick into touch there by Latrell for the penalty. And the ball will be placed right on halfway, as we've now got 24 and a half minutes remaining in this game. Still 18 all. So now just trying to get through here. Latrell gets a pass out to Johnston. Johnston trying to break through the line. He gets brought down 20 away now from the try line. Second tackle. South Sydney now following the momentum. Their attacking line's gone all the way out. Whiten bats it back to Campbell Graham. And Campbell Graham will get wrapped up 25 metres away from the try line for the third tackle on the far right-hand side. And now Tallis Duncan with a good run here. Now 10 away from the try line. 4th tackle for South Sydney. Out to the left again. Grubber kicked. And there's Cameron Murray with no one around him from a brilliant grubber there by Humphreys. And it's now 22 points to 18 with a kick to come for South Sydney. And it's just a brilliantly played kick there. And Cameron Murray just running straight through. No one was around him. What a grubber there. That's just brilliant there. And there's just no one around him. Tracy tried his best. There you go. Try confirmed. And with 23 minutes remaining, South Sydney have taken back the lead. But yeah, Cameron Murray, first try of the season, only his 36th of his career. But we've now got 22 and a half minutes now to go, so the conversion attempt shouldn't be too bad. It's still got a chance of missing. To be fair, every kick's got a chance of missing. But there you go, Cameron Murray just catching with two hands and grounding it. That's what you want. It's been a pretty decent match, I must say. And here's the conversion attempt by Latrell. And he slots it. 24 points to 18 now with 22 minutes remaining in this matchup. And South Sydney keep it going. Round 23, 2024, the last time Cameron Murray scored in the NRL, which is a pretty mental stat. I just want to have a quick look at possibly South Sydney versus Canterbury head-to-head, because I want to see how long this, in terms of recent dominance, it has been, because they said from pretty much since 2018 to 2025, the Bulldogs have only won it once, and that was last year. See, I'm pretty certain it says here that the Bulldogs, ever since 2012 when this match started, the Bulldogs have only won 3. Oh, and I think it started like around 2012. But South Sydney just keeping on going. Last tackle just shy of halfway as Latrell takes a big bomb. That's a huge kick. And it's a great take there, but can the Bulldogs do something with the catch? As Kiraz gets brought down. And Kiraz has lost it. Are the Bulldogs gonna challenge that? Yes, they will. So yep, there was they say that Kiraz has lost the ball, but they're saying that could be a possible strip. So Kiraz is adamant that it was a strip and not a knock on. Oh, that is genuinely, that's probably one of the worst challenges I've seen. It's actually like Kiraz has got the ball and he's like, hold it here, and Cody Walker's come around with his arm around the chest and the ball's popped out. I'm sorry, but why on earth would you challenge that? That is a really bad challenge there by. If that was Kiraz, yeah, I think he's lost his right to do that, because that is not good. That is a really piss poor challenge. Okay, 20 metres out, full set of 6. South Sydney looking to increase their lead, and they're going down the left hand side. Johnston offloads it back into China Bay, but it's come off the leg of Marcelo Montoya and gone out, and I believe it's played at, so it's going to be a scrum feed again to South Sydney. So play the ball 10 metres out, full set of 6. As we enter the final 20 minutes of this first half, as Totola tries to go up the guts and now 5 away. But here we go. Duncan trying to run up the middle again. Trying to see what they can do for here. They're passing it out to the left-hand side. Hubner. Again, it's just the forwards trying to crush over 5 away. Here's a run. Mamazelis from dummy half. And again, just knocking on the door here. 4th tackle. They're right on the line here. And South now go to the right. Gray to Whiten, but Whiten gets wrapped up by Burton. Now 15 away from the try line. Last tackle for South Sydney. Jai Gray with the kick. And it's gone out to be a 20-minute restart and a 7-tackle set. That honestly was a bit of a waste of a set there by Souths. To be completely honest. I think it was just one of those rough ones. That's just a bit unfortunate, but oh no, okay, so we've got a bit of a situation. So Crichton's been ruled out with a shoulder AC joint injury and will have to have scans, as in the background, Burton is now having some trouble. I think it's also an arm issue. But the Bulldogs now, fourth tackle, just on halfway. No, Salmon, yep. I don't think that tackle was completed. But then Max King gets the run out the middle and gets brought down on halfway for the last tackle. He's got 18 and a half remaining. As Galvin with the high kick. It's going to be aimed right at Johnston. And Johnston takes it and he'll get wrapped up on the 10-metre line for the first tackle. But yeah, this has just been a bit of an unfortunate scenario for the Dogs. Because I just said Burton was having a little bit of a weird issue. Yeah, but Crichton, an AC joint injury. I don't know off the top of my head how long that could possibly take, but he will have scans. But could be a little bit that the star centre is out. But Toller now with the ball for Souths. It'll get just shy of South's 40 for the last tackle, as we're now less than 18 minutes remaining in this matchup. What's been a pretty decent matchup on the Good Friday. Decent amount of scoring, but it's still been pretty close. Now the Bulldogs now on the 30 here. Karaz immediately gets mapped up. It's South have just got the momentum here. They're all just rushing forward, trying to immediately smash the Dogs players. Montoya now. I don't think the Bulldogs have gotten many metres here so far. So we're just trying to get to the third tackle now, just shy of the 40. Tawala almost breaking the line near halfway for the fourth tackle. I feel like another try for South Sydney could be fatal. Salmon almost breaking through there for the Dogs. 40 away from the try line now. And it's a kick high up in the air. And it's going to be taken by Gray inside of the 10. And Gray will get wrapped up inside of the 10, just past the 10 actually, for the first tackles. We've now got 17 minutes remaining in this matchup. And it's just been... And it's a penalty to South Sydney. It's another high shot by Kikau, and Jai Gray just... I don't know. It's one of those weird ones because I don't think Kikau has been that great. Here we go now. South Sydney. The commentators are already talking about there being the genuine possibility that if the Dogs, if the Bunnies just get one more try, they could seal it. But Kwalamatangi here now gets just shy of the Bulldogs 40 for the second tackle. And a flat ball to Duncan. And the support, the ball's been popped up. But that's going to be classed as a knock on by the Dogs as it was tapped forward. But yeah, it's a great flat ball there by Cody Walker to Tallis Duncan, who's been brilliant since coming on. But yeah, it's been tapped on, but it's going to be classed as a knock-on. The commentators are also saying that pass was forward from the Dogs, but it's going to be a scrum feed here for South Sydney. 20 metres away from the try line, 15 remaining. Another try could be starting to put the game to bed with Latrell. Trying to dive down the line. He's down on the far left-hand side of the field now. 10 away from the try line. Now to Murray. Murray trying to get down the gap, and he's brought down 5 away from the try line. Second tackle. They'll go more central here as they give it to Totola. That's Kwalamatangi, my apologies. Again, 5 away now. Third tackle. They're going to work their way to the right-hand side. Walker almost loses the ball, but he gets held up. 15 away now. Fourth tackle. Hubner now, again, held up about 10 away now. Last tackle for South Sydney. Kwalamatangi. There's a grubber kick. Murray with the taste. Oh, the ball's been popped up, and it's ended up in the hands of Latrell Mitchell, and he's grounded it, and that could be enough for South Sydney to take the win in this Good Friday matchup. 28 points to 18 with a kick to come. That just might do it. But it's a pass out there to it's actually to Cody Walker with the grubber kick. Tracy tries to scoop it up and just loses possession of the ball. And then Latrell Mitchell has ended up in his hand. He does essentially like a commando roll and ends up grounding the ball. Oh, he's held on to that. Yeah, that's a try to Latrell Mitchell. And unfortunately, it looks like that South Sydney. He did almost lose it, but yeah, he's done well to hold on to that. But there we go. Latrell Mitchell gets the try. It's now 28-18 with a kick to come. With 13 minutes now remaining. The problem is, though, the Dogs really just haven't looked like scoring for like most of this second half. So I just don't know if they're going to be able to. There we go, South Sydney. So currently on this ladder, they'll actually go to second place on the live ladder. So that is something obviously behind by a decent amount of points difference by the Panthers. So here's the conversion attempt. This to make it a 12-point lead. And the conversion's good. 12.5 remaining. It is 30 points to 18. And you got to start thinking that the more time progresses, the more likely it is going to be South Sydney will get the win and break the buck in the trend that was South having a pretty decent streak in the Good Friday matches, which was broken last year by the Bulldogs in a 32-0 win. Here's the kickoff here by the Bulldogs. I mean, it could potentially be classified that this is done now, but you just got to think one more trial would guarantee it that it would be over for the Dogs. It'd be too far from. As Hubner now gets brought down inside of the 20 for the second tackle. I'll spread it now to the right-hand side, as that is the number 8 of Tavita Totola. Number 12, Tallis Duncan. Now onto the 40 for the third tackle. For the fourth tackle, actually. Now just running through the middle here. Last tackle. And Latrell Mitchell with the high kick. And it's going to be pressure on Montoya. Montoya takes it inside of the 20, trying to get a pass through. And unfortunately, Trace just gets wrapped up on the 10 by Jack Whiten. And now it's Montoya again and Cody Walker trying to drag him back. So just you need strong defence to just close out this game here now for South Sydney. Tuala. Bit of a high shot there on him, but it's not called. Third tackle. Galvin. Preston tries. It looks like Preston expected there to be a winger on his side, but no one was there. And South Sydney's now ended up with the ball, and this has just been, I think, the tale of what's happened with the Bulldogs ever since Crichton's come off the field. So Matangi will get the run up, and this will be the first tackle of this 7-tackle set. Second half completions, 20 for 20 for South Sydney, 5 for 10 for the Bulldogs. And there goes, well, there goes. There's a knock on there by Jai Gray, so that's not a completed set. But Gray's down on the ground. And there's a little bit of the handbags going on at the moment, but they're trying to see that there's a possibility of a penalty for a high shot on Jai Gray. Gray has not gotten up. Oh, it's the number 17 there of the Bulldogs, Sean O'Sullivan. So Gray lost the ball. Oh, that's a proper swinging arm to the head. So it's going to be a penalty actually for South Sydney for the high shot. I don't know if it's going to be a sin bin. It's definitely a penalty, but I don't know if it's going to be a sin bin. Yep, Sean O'Sullivan on report. No penalty, but it is. This is the thing, with a penalty from about 20 metres away from the try line, you might as well go for the conversion. So yep, they'll go for the 2 as a bunch of planes are flying in formation. Richmond Air Base, fair enough. Just 6 planes flying about around the Royal Easter Show. Wonder where their planes are going soon, because I know some people are going to the big IR. So kick 30 metres away from the try line. It'll be a penalty kick by Latrell Mitchell. This to make it a 14-point lead. Okay, well, here's an interesting situation, though. Jai Gray's now been ruled by the independent doctor for a HIA, but then it's like, well, then what happened? So there's been a lot of talk about that Sean O'Sullivan, because of the independent doctor, he should be in the bin. It's one of those rough ones, but yep, Jai Gray getting a standing ovation as he comes off the field for a very decent performance in this game. There's the conversion attempt, and it hits the post and goes in. So it's going to be a 14-point lead as we enter the final final 10 minutes of this second half. And it looks like South Sydney should be on their way to getting the win. And it's an attempted short kick-off. It's been batted backwards by the Bulldogs, but it's going to be ended up in the hands of Mamazelis for South Sydney as we're now into the final 9 minutes of this matchup. South Sydney now just trying to go run up the guts here from Totola, 45 away from the try line now. Last tackle for Souths. And it's a kick by Walker. And you get Tracy. But the Dogs now, there's nothing really much to go about at the moment, but it's just they'll do enough. And it's a knock on there by Marcelo Montoya. 15 away from the try line, and that's just showing of how bad it's been this second half for the Bulldogs. It's a category 2 for Jai Gray, so we could come back onto the field, but I mean, there's 7 minutes left. There's nothing really you can do with that one. So here we go. Now right at halfway. No, not halfway. 10 out. So now, second tackle now, 5 away from the try line. This to put an exclamation point here for South Sydney. As Fafita will get held up. Third tackle. Salmon almost targeting the legs there. And flat ball there, almost running to Tola. Almost there, 5 away from the line. Mamazelis gets a good wrapped up there by Hayward. Last tackle here for South Sydney, and that's a bobble there by Colombitani. They've caught it. It was a knock backwards, and the Dogs are going to jockey. As Tracy the jockey, but Latrell getting in a little bit in trouble there, but it'll be a 20-minute restart and a 7-tackle set here for the Dogs. We've got 6.5 now remaining in this game. So the Bulldogs, can they get at least some bit of consolation? I mean, they could still score 3 tries, but it's the situation where it's just not going to happen. So the number 5 there, Galvin. Galvin trying to guard the guts, but he won't be able to. 45 away from the try line. 3rd tackle, Hayward. Now Kurtman now 30 away from the try line. 4th tackle. The Dogs now going up to the right-hand side. It's a grounded pass. Unfortunately, Montoya loses it. It'll be a changeover. As Bulldogs fans start to vacate themselves to go over to the Easter show. So less than 5 minutes remaining. It'll be a scrum feed for the Bulldog. Scrum feed for the Bunnies, sorry, at around the 20-metre line. There we go. There's the kick there. We were passing down to the south side. I've almost had a stroke there. I do very much apologise. But anyways, Kalaamatangi now at the 40 for the 4th tackle. And it's an early attempts for a 40-20 kick. The bouncers won't go near the sideline. As Tracy trying to get a pass off there as Carraz. It's brought down on the 30-metre line for the first tackle for the Bulldogs. We're now going into the final 4 minutes. And it's another knock on by the Bulldogs. It's just been a calamitous second half here for the Dogs. And South Sydney will get the ball about 30 away from the try line. So we're just having a quick look at the draw here for the next matches coming up. For Bulldogs fans, it does not get any better. They play Thursday night at Accor Stadium against Penrith. And we're just having a quick check for South Sydney. And for the South Sydney Rabbitohs, they'll be playing the Raiders next in Perth. That'll be a pretty interesting game to see, to be honest. So 3 minutes now remaining in this matchup as South Sydney, we've pretty much secured it. Totola now at the 20 now for the 3rd tackle. They're spreading it out to the left-hand side. It's Tallis Duncan again, but it's another forward pass. That's unfortunate, but Tallis Duncan has been brilliant this game for South. And now let's kick in now. The ball is entering the final 2 minutes. So this will probably end up being the final set that the Bulldogs will play this game. I mean, it's early. You go to the Easter show. Max King. I just don't think the forwards have had much of it. Besides from Tupanua, the Bulldogs forwards have been not noticeable. Like Kikau and King, I've barely noticed this game. And it's another bobble by the Bulldogs. So the South have now ended up with it 30 away from the try line. Can they just get another try to get an exclamation point? Kalaamatangi loses it. And Kurtman with the ball. And Kurtman tried to lay it off to Salmon, but Kurtman will get brought down for the 0 tackle 40 metres away from the try line. Kick out. Oh my God, almost a terrible pass there to Burton. Burton trying to break through, trying to get some kind of support. He gets an offload. It's Salmon. Now to Connor Tracy, And the Bulldogs will score this half, but unfortunately it'll be too little too late. So it'll be 32 points to 22 with the kick to come, but that will do it. But it's just, despite of how good the first half is, they just unfortunately just did not show up enough in this game as the time has paused with 53 seconds remaining. Don't understand why. I don't think there's really any chance of this happening. And here's a conversion attempt here from Matt Burton to make this 32 points to 24. And the kick is good. So we're under the final minute now. But yeah, Viliami kick out. I think this has been a couple of forwards who just haven't made the presence that I think they should have this game. And I think specifically it's like Max King and Viliami kick out. Like genuinely, I'd make the argument you should start Tupanua and have kick out on the bench. So 45 seconds remaining. We're just waiting now for the kickoff from South Sydney. But to be completely honest, it's like, I know the score now makes it look like it was a bit close, but I think it's a bit of a, well, if you actually, of one of those, if you actually watch the match, this second half has just been completely Hayward. And there's the kickoff there by South Sydney. So this will be the final set of the match. If the Bulldogs could somehow just get another try and just make it like a 2-point game. But Preston gets held up at the 10 for the third tackle with 30 seconds now left on the clock. Well, you got to say the Bulldogs had a brilliant swing of momentum to get them in the lead in the first half, but them losing Crichton has been crucial and it's just they've seemed lost without him. And coming into the final 10 seconds. So despite the 2025 win, it has been utter dominance in this fixture for South Sydney Rabbitohs in their history. And it's back in the swing of things. And that is the full-time siren. And it will be 32 points to 24. South Sydney take the win in the Good Friday Clash for 2026. That was for you, Nathan Merritt, certainly. But that's actually been a really decent game, to say the least. And it's been a pretty decent stream, but thank you all very much for watching. Now, this will be the only game I do of the NRL today, but if you're interested in Super League derbies, English derbies, we'll be doing the later ones, though, as Hull, Kingston Rovers take on Hull FC. You've also got St Helens taking on Wigan, and you've also got, in the morning, you've got Bradford versus Leeds, so that should be all good. So thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you around.